So, welcome to, oh my goodness, that is loud in this big room. Welcome everyone to the 2022 Upper Arlington State of the City. I am Steve Shoney. I am the city manager for the city of Upper Arlington. A couple of housekeeping notes for you all. First of all, if you're anything like me, I'll just be honest, I would much rather be down the hall at the basketball game. So if any of you feel like you would rather be there and you want to get up now and leave, that's fine. I just need you to come in at the quarter breaks, flash for me what the score is of the game, and we'll be all fine. Similarly, I would like to claim that if you hear cheering in the background, I should claim that it's because we've got a live stream somewhere else and it's off, and that's what the cheering is. It's for my jokes as I make them, but it's probably really just the game. That was really loud again. So we're going to do things a little bit differently tonight than we've done in the past. I'm going to make a few opening remarks. We're going to show you some videos to talk about what we did last year, what's coming up. Then we're going to have show some videos of our community award winners for this year, and then we're going to spend most of the evening tonight talking about something that I am incredibly excited about, and I know many of you are excited about, which is where we are in the planning for the Upper Arlington Community Center. So that's where we're going to spend the bulk of the evening. So I do want to really get right into it. Our presentation is going to focus on a number of things, but we don't spend a lot of time in the presentation talking about some very basic things. And that is what we do from a safety perspective, what we're doing financially, and what we're doing with our roads. And we've got a ton of information for those of you who really want to hear about that. Go to our website, talk about it, but there are a few things I want to highlight. In 2021, for the 13th consecutive time, when we went out to the market and sold bonds, the City of Upper Arlington's bonds were AAA rated. That is the highest rating you can get from any of the rating agencies. Only in this kind of environment would you get applause for talking about bond ratings, but that's cool. That's really great. The other thing I want to talk about from a financial perspective is we have been seeing the benefits of our economic development program, as well as seeing the benefits from being fiscally responsible. How does that manifest itself? Last year, we saw our revenues grow by 8%, and our expenses only grew by 2.6%. So we are seeing growth in our resources, but we're still, even as we see that growth, being very careful with how we spend the taxpayers' dollars. When we look at doing kind of the basics of roads and sewers, I could talk for an hour about kind of what we're doing here, what we're doing there. There are a few things that I want to highlight. We are fully rebuilding Northwest Boulevard, Fishinger Road, and McCoy Road, three of our most important thoroughfares. That's what your taxpayer dollars are going toward. We're resurfacing 16 of our residential streets. And we're rebuilding, kind of taking all the way down to the dirt, to the base pavement, 8 additional of our residential streets. But we aren't just focusing on the community center, we're focusing on the basic infrastructure of our city. In addition to all that, we are continuing to work to make sure that what goes on even below the streets is effective and works well for our city. So we have this program called Sustainable Sewer Solutions, where we go through and we look at our sewer lines, literally stick a camera down the sewer. It is a multi-year plan. Because of our strong budgeting, because of how successful we are in going out and getting grants, we have actually accelerated that whole program by a year. So we are making sure that our infrastructure that you all rely on, that you count on, that you assume is there, and that it's functioning. Finally, from a safety perspective, we went through at council last week and had a long discussion about our safety and how well we're doing from a crime perspective, but I will give you kind of the easiest way to summarize it. NerdWallet, which is not, despite kind of my personality, something I read on a regular basis, did release 2 weeks ago its ratings of the safest communities in the country. We were very proud to see that Upper Arlington was rated as the 14th safest community in the entire country and the safest community in Ohio. That you can applaud for. Yeah. Great work of our safety forces, both police and fire, but it is also really has to do with everything we do in city government. So it's about building a community that puts people on the streets and puts people out into the community, because having people be out in the community is part of making this an attractive place to live and an unattractive place to do things you're not supposed to be doing. So those are my introductory remarks. We're going to show a video now kind of summarizing some things that we did in 2021 and looking forward to 2022.
2021 was another year of turmoil for many of us. COVID continued to dominate our lives and change the way we operate on a daily basis. At the City of Upper Arlington, we navigated these same challenges and continued to do meaningful work serving the community. In 2021, the Community Relations Committee completed its first full year of work. The committee was created by City Council in 2020 to support Upper Arlington as a welcoming community and to promote understanding, mutual respect, and a sense of belonging among all residents. In 2021, the committee advised the city on how we can better incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion into all elements of city operations. Because of the work of the committee, we revised several key aspects of our hiring process, including posting all positions, even if a strong internal candidate exists, and removing identifying information from all applications and resumes through the initial screening process. These changes have helped open more opportunities to diverse candidates and remove the possibility for implicit bias in the screening process. The committee helped guide the city's participation in Black History Month and our work with the Upper Arlington Public Library and UA schools on commemorations of other cultural events. In the coming year, the committee will continue its efforts with the launch of a small grant program that will allow community organizations to help advance the mission of the Community Relations Committee. In the fall of 2021, the Police Division launched its body camera program. The rollout followed months of researching best practices and developing a robust set of program policies, guidelines, and training requirements.
Going back to 2020, we began the process of trying to develop a new body camera program. We started the program in the summer with a pilot program, and by the fall, we were able to actually fully implement all of our patrol and school resource officers with body cameras.
The body cameras protect police officers, protect the public, enhance the division's transparency, and provide a new level of appreciation relative to the professionalism and training demonstrated by our officers.
Gives us a chance to be transparent. The officers like that. They want the public to see what we do. We want them to have a better understanding, and this is a great way of doing that.
Devin, we wrapped up the mechanical building this past spring, right before the pool opened for the year. So that was kind of one of our last phases out there, and also replaced a large portion of the pool deck. So it's a lot more comfortable to walk around out there now, and then kind of over the multiple phases really feels like a different pool out there with the new bathhouse that was a couple years before that. And our last phase is to come back in a couple years and replace the toddler pool. Oxford Park, we replaced a 25-year-old playground out there with a brand new one. Had a great community engagement process on that. A great survey, a lot of good input from the neighbors out there. And we're able to replace it with a brand new one. It's real fun because it's kind of wrapped around the large tree that's out there and kind of nestled into the little nook. And we are planning on coming back and adding some nature play elements to go along with it. So some logs and boulders and things for kids to climb on next to the playground. Vassar Park was actually a suggestion by one of our residents who came and proposed the project to us. Katie White, who also works with the Arlington Commission on Aging, came up with a great idea on how to kind of really make better use of an underused alley out there. Every department in the city was involved in it. Public service, repaving the alley. Parks was able to bring out some site furnishings, kind of turn the alley from, just a piece of pavement into a park for the summer. And then her team came in and did murals on the ground and painted the picnic tables and brought out flowers and kept it up all summer. So it was a really great experience and a good place for people to hang out this past year.
In 2022, changes are planned for the police station at the Municipal Services Center. Renovations start in the spring to expand and improve the space the department occupies. This means the police will relocate during construction.
We're hoping by the end of the year we will have a brand new facility, part of the Municipal Services Center. We're going to be in the same location at the end. However, during this phase, things are going to look a little bit different. For one, we're not going to be on location. We're going to have some officers working out of the Municipal Services Center, but most of our people are going to be working out of the old administrative offices for UA schools. We're not going to have a desk officer, and I know the public is used to having a desk officer to answer questions, come, take a report. We're still going to make ourselves available. We're going to have people calling, scheduling a time, coming in. They can still meet with us at the MSC, but they can also meet us down at Mall Way. We are excited that, we are going to have a brand new facility, brand new technology, and I think it's going to provide a much better service for the community when it's all said and done. We just kind of have to work our way through the process, which might be a little clunky at times.
Phase 2 of the McCoy Road improvements gets underway this year.
From Woodbridge Road to Riverside Drive, we will be replacing the pavement and doing spot curb, as well as adding some safety improvements. At Oxford Park, we're planning on adding a bump out and adding some dedicated parking for the people that go to the parks.
Long-awaited improvements to Fishinger Road begin in 2022, enhancing the connectivity and aesthetics of this major thoroughfare.
We've been looking at reconstructing Fishinger Road for many, many years. We're hoping to start in the summer of this year. The project will include many improvements that are desperately needed. Of course, we'll be replacing the pavement and all of the curbs, driveways, but we'll also be adding a 5-foot sidewalk on the south side that will extend the entire length of the project, which will be from 5 Point all the way to just west of Mount View Road for phase 1. And then the following year, we'll do phase 2, which will go Mount View all the way to Riverside Drive. So that 5-foot sidewalk will extend the entire distance. And then on the north side, we're adding an 8-foot wide sidewalk as well, which we're really excited about.
Work is already underway in Northam Park with 2 different projects coming this year. Work has already begun to improve drainage at the park.
Yeah, so right now in Northam we have a big 36-inch storm sewer that's going in. We're trying to address some of the ponding issues on the northern end of the park. It's also going to really set us up for the future improvements that we plan to do out there, improving the drainage on the athletic field. So it's kind of the necessary infrastructure we need out there to keep things moving. And then we're getting ready to get into the more detailed design of the replacement of the park service building. So we had a few good community input sessions this winter, looking at the conceptual design and figuring out the uses that are going to go in there and how it's going to be set up. And excited to move forward with that. Going to have a nice building that really complements the architecture of the concession stand and the pool out at Northam Park.
All right. Welcome. Thanks for coming. I am Councilmember Brendan King. I have the distinct honor and privilege of serving as the president of Upper Arlington City Council as well. And I'm going to take a minute and introduce my fellow council members, starting with Council Vice President Brian Close, Kathy Adams, Ukemi Awakasine Jeter, Mishaela Burris, John Kulowitz, and Jim Lynch. So thank you all for your service and thanks for being here tonight. It's now time to recognize the 2021 Community Award winners. We're going to start by turning it over to Council Vice President Brian Close, who's going to present the 2021 Business of the Year.
Hi guys, my name is Brian Close. I'm here to present the 2021 Business of the Year. Now, unfortunately, we weren't able to meet with this Business of the Year due to some scheduling issues. So we're going to go a little old school here, and I'll just introduce it from the script. So this year's 2021 Business of the Year is Gallo's Kitchen. Whether making from his daily preparation of his grandfather's pasta sauce recipe to greeting patrons and friends nightly in the dining room, Tommy is a main reason for Gallo's Kitchen's nomination. He works tirelessly, often cleaning and closing after 4 a.m., only to wake up the next day by 8 a.m. to do it all over again. Tommy always pulls off a great dining experience night after night. That is what Gallo and Tommy Gallo are the 2021 Upper Arlington Business of the Year. Now the remaining nominations and the winners are going to be on video, rolling above us here now. Thank you.
Kelly, I'd love to present you with the Gives Back Award. It's actually really exciting to be able to give this award not only to a friend, but to a group that is doing such amazing things. You know, this is a group that started in the pandemic. We know that now more than ever, kindness is the language that all world needs.
It is.
And being able to do all you're doing, the 150 backpacks that you've given to kids, all the groups you supported. Not only that, but you've built a community of 600 plus people here within UA that are stepping up to give back. Me being one of those 600. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank
and
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We started with Elizabeth Blank, who's a teacher at Hastings, when the pandemic hit, and we donated to food pantries and to Moms to Be and to the Student Success Store with the Columbus school system. But the biggest one is Home for Families, and that's the one where we supplied backpacks as well as Christmas gifts. And so it is a large community. It's a community that spreads kindness. And Jenny Futrell is also part of UA Gives Back and helps with the Sign Up Genius, which is perfection. So we became good friends, and I am just so grateful to have you in my life. And I feel very honored to receive this award, so thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Community builder.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
It's my sincere pleasure and honor to give our Outstanding Senior Award to Ann Gabriel. Ann Gabriel has lived here a long time, and I'll tell you, even despite the fact that she worked at Ohio University, she's made it a priority to be very active in our community and give exceptional volunteerism. You name it, Ann has done it. She was the treasurer of the Community Foundation. She's been the treasurer of the library. She's scored to lead our Citizens Financial Task Force to help us ways to be more efficient and save money. And she's always willing just to roll up her sleeves and get a lot of things done for this community. And she leads Black and Gold, and we're just so grateful that she continues to live in our community. And Ann, my honor to present this to you. I'd love you to say a few words as well.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jim. And for all those that selected me. And first, a very big thank you to my very good friend, John Wills, for nominating me for this wonderful award. The motto of the UA schools is serve, lead, succeed. And as a Tremont Lion, Jones Bear Cub, and an Upper Arlington Golden Bear, they prepared me to do just that. And I'm forever grateful for my great education and all the wonderful experiences I had growing up in Upper Arlington. And despite being a very proud alum of that school up north, I've always followed the advice of Woody Hayes. And he said, you can never pay back, you can only pay forward. And that's what I try to do. So Jim and everyone, thank you again for this wonderful award. I'm very proud to receive it.
Now, just because you have this award now doesn't mean you have to take your foot off the pedal. We want you to continue to give your great energy to the betterment of this community.
Don't worry. No, I'm first and foremost a Golden Bear.
Thank you.
I'm very excited to be introducing Matthew Hare this evening on behalf of his amazing work with the Callahan Murphy Hare Foundation. And Matt's going to be telling us a little bit more about his foundation and the amazing work that they're doing after they received a really critical diagnosis for their infant son at birth. And, you know, on behalf of the city and our sincerest thanks to you, your wife, your other daughter and son, you know, it really brings home just how important families are to our community and what it means to shed light and activism on issues that really impact anybody. And, you know, I just really can't thank you enough for turning your, for lack of a better word, tragedy into something that can do good for not just residents here in Upper Arlington, but infants everywhere. So Matthew and your whole family, thank you so much. We're very honored to give you this award, and I hope you can tell us a little bit more about your foundation.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we started our foundation in about after our son was born in April and was immediately diagnosed with infant leukemia, which is really rare. And we ultimately wanted to be a part of helping fund research that can ultimately one day lead to a cure, but in the meantime, better therapies that kids can tolerate better. And so we're really excited about some of the work that we're doing, and we appreciate this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well deserved. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. We're super proud today to present 10 awards with the award here for the Youth Award, the 2021 Youth Award. Tess, if you don't know, upon her brother's cancer diagnosis a few years ago, wrote a book, and the book was called Worry-Free Bear, and it was from Tess's perspective about how she was coping and dealing with this diagnosis. You want to share anything more about the book?
Not really. I mean, we just had so much support throughout everything and so much help with the book. And although it may have taken a pretty long time, I'm just so happy that the book's now here.
Great. I see in the crowd here principals at Greenview, so they're all here supporting you tonight, and I'm sure they were a big part of the project as well.
Most definitely.
Good. That's great. Well, the Short family, I'm proud to know them well, and congratulations to the Shorts and everybody at Greensview for this really great project. Tess, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
We're smiling really big.
What is community? Community is not a place, a building, or an organization. Community is a feeling and a set of relationships among people. Community members have a sense of trust, belonging, safety, and caring for each other. Community is people who are a part of something that is bigger than themselves. To build community requires only the ability to see value in others, to look at them and see a potential partner. Upper Arlington's next evolution in community is now underway. We are building a place where we will gather as a community. A place where everyone will be welcome and have a sense of belonging. A place where we will care for each other and see the value in each other every day. A place where rock-solid relationships will form. This is UA. This is our community.
This time I would wait for the proper cue to come back out. one of the things that I, as I was watching that video and watching Tess in particular, you know, I do miss the fact that we have been able to get together with each other and celebrate things together, like what we had with the great things that, you know, I watched that and I watched a kid doing those great things and watching the great things that Tess did. But we have to continue to look forward. And we have been looking forward as a community for a long time now. I'm going to ask Margie Pizzuti to start making her way up the stage, because we started down a process that began before I started with the city in late September of 2019, when City Council impaneled a group called the Community Center Feasibility Task Force that Margie was one of the co-chairs of with Nick Lashutka. And we started putting together this plan for a community center that we're really going to unveil tonight. And from the beginning, this has been about partnering with the community to do things. And it continues to be. So I want Margie to talk to you a little bit about some of that partnership with the community, because it is going to continue to take all of us to make this happen. And Margie, after she got done with co-chairing the Community Center Feasibility Task Force, just couldn't get enough. Yeah. And so rolled into working with the Upper Arlington Community Foundation on our fundraising campaigns. So Margie, I want to turn the mic over to you for a minute.
Thank you. What he didn't say is I was his height when I started this effort, okay? So in the last 3 years, I right-sized myself. So thank you, Steve. And it has been a particular pleasure to work with Steve and your entire staff at the city. We are better together, folks. We are absolutely better together. And I think this project and this initiative and this journey underscores that. So I'm exceedingly proud and privileged and passionate, those of you who know me, to be a part of this community center journey. In fact, I might confess that I've been somewhat obsessed with this project, even though there are others who have been working on this for 35 years, maybe, or more. I am deeply engaged and excited about this project. And since serving on the task force, which began in August of 2019, was supposed to be a 6-month task force. It's okay. Yeah, that was, Kip Greenhill said just 6 months. But I have to tell you, we did it right. We took 18 months. And we had an extraordinary task force members, 16 members of this task force. And we wanted to make sure we answered the 3 questions. One was, does this community need a community center? Do we want a community center? And if so, how do we pay for a community center to make it a reality? And we undertook an enormous amount, because it was the right thing to do, of transparent outreach to the community to answer those 3 questions. And I think the report that we gave to City Council in December of 2020 was something that could be a real blueprint for going forward, and a reflection of what this community wanted. And so you shared a little bit about the task, the path we've taken. Last summer, I agreed to serve as the co-chair of a capital campaign committee, because the private sector had made the commitment, along with the city, that we would raise a portion of the dollars needed to raise, to make this a reality. And we believe that that was the right thing to do. And so we have been working since last summer, and it's impossible to see anybody out in the audience here.
Bring the house lights up. It feels a little like I should break into song, which is not anything anybody wants. Thank you.
Oh, great, thanks. I knew there were people out there, but I just couldn't see you. And it's also difficult, there's a lot going on this evening, but I would like anybody who was on the task force, can you please stand? And members of the Capital Campaign Committee, please take a minute, don't be shy. Stand and be recognized. Okay, excellent. I say often that it takes a village to do the work that we're doing. Any organization or community does the work that they're doing, and this is really what it has taken. And so we are now on an incredible path in terms of our fundraising. Last summer, the Capital Campaign received an enormous lead gift of $2 million from Loanne Crane. Some of you may know of her. Jamie Crane and Tim Miller live in our community, and Loanne, who passed away several months ago, last summer wanted to make a commitment to this community on behalf of her husband, Bob Crane, who grew up in this community, lost all their money in the Depression, and really struggled. And a kind neighbor of theirs gave him a tennis racket because he loved to play tennis. And that became a lifelong love of his. And he always remembered throughout his life the notion of giving back and paying forward because people were so kind to him in this community. And that has really guided both him and Loanne's life and their entire family, the entire Crane family. So we received that gift last summer. And the other thing that she really wanted to do was to give this lead gift early so that she would inspire others to give as well. And give they did. And we have, since last summer, been so gracious and so gratified by the gifts that have come into this community by individuals who really believe in and understand that this community center will truly be an inclusive, multi-generational place where everybody can come and gather. And so we actually raised the full amount of our goal of $5.4 million to date. And and I want to thank the members of the campaign committee. Again, some of them are here. Our two honorary co-chairs are Bill Hoskett and his son Brad, and Wendy Hinton Gomez. Most of the kids in this community have probably gone to Wendy's gymnastics, and her daughter, Kate. We really wanted this to be sort of a father-son, mother-daughter, multi-generational group of honorary chairs. And we also have an impressive committee, again, some of whom are here this evening. And they really made the difference. And once we received that gift from Loanne Crane, we really began to see the dollars raised. And so when we reached our initial $5.4 million goal, with the city's design team adjusting its goals as it involved its plans, and we're going to maybe see a little bit about it here tonight, listening to the community, hearing what the community wanted. And so we really adjusted our goal from the initial 5.4 million to $8 million. That is our goal now for this capital campaign. And you may hear sort of a collective gasp about that, but we are confident. There are so many other individuals. We are confident that we can make that happen so that we can go from really good to golden with this community center. and that we can make it the inclusive place and the place where everybody wants to gather. I think that we've been purposeful with what we've done, and Jamie made a point. Jamie Crane made a point, because this is what her mom really wanted as well. Made a point of saying, whether a gift is large or a gift is small, it doesn't really matter. It is all about supporting this community and making this a wonderful place and a wonderful community center for everybody in this community. So we're going to be sharing this news in many ways and in the months ahead. So there's a table outside if you want to learn more about the work that we're doing and want to get engaged. We'd love to have you do that. And I encourage you to stay connected with us, and we'll be communicating with you and coordinating with the city on communicating. So Steve, thank you for giving me the opportunity to make some good news announcements on behalf of the capital campaign. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, Margie. Thank you for everything, and I want to thank everybody in the community who has already donated. So this is a little bit like being in the position of the last speaker before lunch, and everybody's waiting on the meat of the meal, and that's coming. And what I hope you see tonight is the culmination of a lot of community outreach and a culmination of a focus on creating a building that is going to help everyone in Upper Arlington live a better life. Ultimately, that's what this is about. It's easy to focus on design and what it looks like, but really what the team is about to present to you is a building that, as they've designed it, we've spent a lot of time on the inside of the building. I'll be honest with you, what you're going to see tonight, I don't think I saw the first designs of the exterior of the building till 2 or 3 weeks ago? But we have spent a lot of time on the inside of the building. We're going to throw a lot at you tonight. We're putting all this up on the website so that you can go back at it. We're going to talk at the end about how we're going to work with you all, work with all our community groups to make sure that people understand what's coming and we understand how to improve on what we're going to present to you tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay Peckinpah from Perkins & Will, and she is going to lead us through the design discussion.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
And I apologize. I had meant to be checking Twitter to get a score on the basketball game, but I forgot and left my phone up here. So when I come back up, I'll give you an update on the basketball game.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you for turning the lights up. It was really dramatic for a while. So thanks for coming out. It's been since November since we've had a touch point in person with many of you, and I'm glad that a little bit of rain is not keeping you from coming and getting an update. So Brian, if we could go ahead, as Steve said, we do have a lot to go over with you tonight. We have evolved quite a bit of information. We are going to put this presentation up on the website. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time just recapping where we are in the schedule. I'm going to update you on our continued commitment to community engagement. Many of you took a survey. I'm going to run through those results very high level. I want to point out it's not a statistically valid survey. It will be posted in its entirety on the website. So for all you analytical data geeks out there, you can visit it in more detail later when you get home. The real punchline here and the exciting part of this evening is, of course, getting to the planning strategy review. And that's what we're going to do a deep dive on. And then Steve will come back up and hit on next steps. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the schedule. We've communicated to you many times that this is a long process. It's an important project. So we're going to take our time and do our due diligence. Right now, we are in schematic design. And so you are going to see the design evolving, but it is still very, very early in this process. And just to remind everybody, we're targeting a spring or summer of 2024 opening. On the next slide, I want to reiterate to you, as Margie said, the community engagement process is a continuum. And so we are here now in February during the town hall. There will be additional opportunities for engagement throughout the course of the project. So what have we been doing since November? We've been meeting with many of you in focus groups and work groups. So we have conducted about 13 sessions with numerous community members. We've met with seniors, youth and teens, including students here at this high school. We've talked to neighbors, and we've had working groups around sustainability, aquatics, inclusivity, and accessibility. So some of the summary and high-level takeaways from those groups. From the seniors, we have heard an excitement around commingling in the facility, but again, the importance of having dedicated space. We've heard about the importance of food and beverage, the importance of parking and access. From the next group, the youth and teens, we talked to middle schoolers and high schoolers. A lot of them are excited about potential jobs. They're excited about Wi-Fi, the opportunity to go and hang out with friends. They're excited about opportunities for gaming, for esports, food access, and an important part, they are looking for a place to hang out later into the evening hours. From the neighbors, unsurprisingly, neighbors are concerned about traffic and noise. So we've talked to neighbors about what the views from the surrounding context will be to the facility. We've talked about strategies to mitigate noise. We've talked about being sensitive to traffic and making sure that there's clear wayfinding on site to direct people to the parking areas. And so these have been really great in informing conversations. For our working groups, we've met with groups that are interested in the pool, and we have heard a lot of demands and interest in that space. We've heard clearly that people want lap swimming available in the pool, but also equally, we've heard that people want access to recreational water and various depths of water in the facility. People are also interested in fun, playful features such as slides. Our inclusivity and accessibility group has been wonderful to talk to and very insightful. Margie's been a part of that group, which has been very helpful as well. We've reiterated to the community that we're really looking to go above and beyond ADA standards in the building and employ universal design standards. We've also talked about the fact that inclusivity is not just about ambulatory issues. It's also about making sure the facility is inclusive in terms of its affordability. And we started to talk about some partnerships that may have promise within the facility. And then sustainability has been an ongoing and important conversation. And we're looking at sustainability from a lot of different lenses. We're studying possibilities around photovoltaics in the project, around strategies to promote water efficiency and energy efficiency, to promote proper recycling in the facility, and then also looking at ways to reuse materials such as the famous blue bricks. All right, so a little bit about the community survey. We have, Brian, if we keep going here, we've been blown away by your responsiveness, and we shouldn't be surprised by it at this point, but over 2,600 people provide unique responses to the online survey. And we asked you 19 questions. I will say that the survey results have been consistent with the input we've gotten from the focus groups and working groups. We asked a few questions about demographics, setting up the survey. Some people said, why does the city need this information? And the only reason we ask about demographics is we want to make sure that the sampling aligns with your community demographics so that we make sure we're not getting input that's weighted to one demographic or another. So the majority of people that responded were female. The majority of people identified as Caucasian. We keep going through this. It was split in terms of who had children in their household under 18. And more importantly, we were asking targeted questions that could start to inform the design. So one of the big responses we got was, how do you intend to get to the site? And many of you, most of you, the majority of you responded you intend to drive and park. So we understand that parking continues to be a critical aspect of this process. We also asked you, when do you anticipate using the facility? And you'll see here that this was a distributed answer. So we do anticipate that the facility will be well utilized throughout the week and all hours of the day, with the weekday lunch hours being the non-peak. We asked what activities do you anticipate using in the facility or participating in, and you'll see again this was well distributed. A lot of people interested in fitness, exercise, and swimming. What design features are most important to you? So a good portion of people responded natural light, connection to the outdoors, the opportunity to use the outdoor terraces, and then the sustainable features of the facility were the highest vote getters. We asked if people intend to use a senior social lounge within the facility, and about half of the respondents said no, but this was also in line with the demographics of the survey. Of the people that intend to use the lounge, we asked, what are the important design features to you? And people responded, comfortable furnishings, the ability to have access to gathering space, and access to gaming and tables. And then we asked a couple targeted questions about the indoor pool. And this was consistent with what we heard in the aquatics working group, that people are seeking access to lap lanes. People are interested in programs such as water aerobics. And again, the idea of a fun feature like a water slide. We asked about the interest in food and what kind of food people would be interested in getting in the facility. 72% responded coffee and beverages. I will say many of you wrote in an answer about beer and wine. Not sure that aligns with the health and wellness. 53% expressed interest in grab and go and healthy options. And quite a few people were interested in sandwiches and soups. We tested the idea of a dedicated cycling studio in the facility. Nearly half of respondents said they're not really interested in that dedicated type feature. We also asked you what sort of on-demand classes you think you would be interested in or would have the highest value in a hybrid setting. And group fitness classes, recreational education, and cultural art programs all have that potential within the facility. And then we did ask a few questions at the end of the survey just about membership options, just trying to get assurance for Parks and Rec that they're setting up that structure adequately for your needs. Half of the respondents said they'd be most interested in a family type membership. And then on the next question, specifically which membership and admission type are you most interested in? And 60% responded a basic membership. And then finally, how do you anticipate paying for your fees? And the majority of respondents said they're looking at probably an annual payment plan. And then lastly, we asked for just an open prompt to the community about what other advice you have for us. We got hundreds and hundreds of open-ended responses, some comical, some reoccurring themes, which you see here. Parking continues to be incredibly important. Katie's going to touch on that. Again, seniors have been vocal about their interest in a dedicated space. Sustainability and the cleanliness of the building is important. And just a reiteration that you are, as a community, expecting a high quality facility that's full of natural light and connected to the outdoors. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Katie Freeland, our design partner with MSA, and her and Keith Hall are going to walk you through some of the plan generation.
Thanks, Lindsay. So before we get into some of the floor plans of the building and the rents, which is really the exciting part, we want to make sure that we all understand the site, the context of the building within which we're building. So you can see at the center there, highlighted in blue and purple, that is the Continental development in which the community center will be a part of. So the community center itself is highlighted in blue right in the middle of the screen. We are just south of 5 Points, and I'm sure you all know we are on the side of the infamous blue brick Macy's building. A couple things to note about this. When this building goes up, it will be either equally as tall or taller than the other two buildings in the development. So just to kind of think about that as you're driving down Tremont now and you see that steel structure going up, that is the senior housing, which is located just north of our building. So just think, this building is going to be as tall or if not taller, which just kind of gives you a sense of scale of what that building will look like. As you are driving down Tremont, and if you kind of look over and you see where the construction is happening now, and you look to where the construction entrance is, and there's some trailers there, that is our building pad. So our site is not very big, and you'll see that as we start going through the plans of the building, which really enforces the fact that we have to build up. So it will be a tall building. As Lindsay mentioned, there's a lot of comments and questions about parking, and we know that a lot of you plan to drive to the community center and park. So just so we understand where that will be located, a majority, about half of the parking associated with the community center will be located on the first and second floor of the apartment building, which is sort of that figure 8 building there on the right of this screen. So from there, you would walk along the north side of the community center and enter in that north entrance. There will be additional parking on the north side of the Giant Eagle parking lot. So you would be coming up along the road and could either enter the south or the north side of the community center. We do have one level of parking underground the community center, but that is really prioritized and focused on our ADA accessible handicap parking and then those with mobility challenges. One other thing I wanted to note, because we are one of the taller buildings, especially as we look to the south, we have this amazing opportunity to have views into downtown, over to Ohio State, and we're really excited to see how those develop as the building comes up. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Keith Hall to talk more about the planning.
First of all, I want to say it's an honor and privilege for our entire team to be here with you tonight and be working on this project with you. I think through all the community engagement, I think our last meeting was back in the beginning of December. Some of the last plans, some of the last images that were out there were what you're seeing up on the screen right now. We went through this exercise to really test the stacking of the building. And Steve said it perfectly earlier tonight. We just have started getting into the exterior design, which we're going to show some images of those concepts. But recognized early on that because of the site and because of the amount of program space inside, that we were going to have to work out the interior before we could start studying the exterior and the massing associated with that. So this is the site, the first plan really, but what I want to point out on here is there's 3 main points of access to the building. On the north side is basically the main entrance to the building. It is a open entrance. You don't have to be a member to get in at that side of the building. The second entrance on the south side, second pedestrian entrance, and that will be a secured entrance. So if you have a fob in your membership card or something like that, you'll be able to come in and swipe your card and on desk. And then the other main point of entry is at the parking garage. Was that northeast corner of the project. There's a ramp that will go down to the parking garage that Katie alluded to just a second ago. Next. This is the parking garage level. I mentioned the access point on the northeast corner. Going down a ramp, moving around clockwise, and there's 45 spaces down here that will specifically be set aside for ADA accessibility spaces as well as mobility challenged folks. In the middle of that plan, you'll see an elevator with some stairs. That is the main core that will go up to the main lobby. That you can start to see right over behind the reception desk. You'll start to see where that comes up. But as you look at these plans, as I go through them, what I want you to notice is the amount of glazing on the outside. As the survey showed, natural light was a big part of what was a big driver in a lot of this. So a lot of connection to the exterior from the interior. As you come in the main door, there's a wide open lobby. That lobby space will be, have a high volume to it, not much unlike what we're seeing in this space. This is a little higher, but probably along the lines of what you're seeing over here behind me. So it's a very grand space. And when you walk in, you're going to be looking up into a mezzanine, not much like different than what the balcony is showing here. So as you come in the front door and as you look right, you'll be looking into the fitness area that is connected to Tremont, and that was purposeful. We put that activity on that side of the building to activate the building on the street side to make so people could be going by and seeing all the activity going on in the building. And then over here on the eastern side is where we've got the aquatics, and you're starting to see where we're showing some zero entry, some lap swimming, and then a slide. Next. And then this is the mezzanine level that I was talking about. It's not, again, it's not too much different than what the balcony behind you here would be. Where you see the X'd out spaces, those are two-story spaces that you will overlook into. As you're moving across the plan from left to right, the fitness is extended up to this level. There's two exercise rooms up there, as well as a teen space, a tech gaming space, and then it's not really noted on there, but we have a meditation room on this floor too. On the second floor, a lot of senior activity up here. I'm going to start again from left to right. You'll see the big green space up there. That is a rooftop deck. It's about 4,000 square feet. It's going to be a highly activated space, and it's directly adjacent to the senior lounge. That was a key decision that we made along the way, and we are still studying that. And I'm going to show you some images of it, but we wanted to have nice connectivity between that senior lounge and outdoor spaces. Behind the senior lounge is a program room. It can be dividable. And then over here we call it program room number 2. That is a arts and crafts room is pretty much what that's going to be on. And then we also have a group exercise room on this level. And then the green space, one of the nice things about this facility is all the Parks and Recs folks right now are sort of spread out in different facilities. So operationally, they're all going to come to this building and live in this building and cohabitate in this building so that we have one place of contact for them when this is finished. And then if any tonight, there's also about 10,000 square feet that is available for leasing on this floor too, if you want to put an office in there or something. Next. We do have tenants for the building. I'm pretty sure most people have heard Nationwide Children's Hospital and OSU will be occupying portions of the building. But also on this floor is the MAC gym. That's a multi-use gym. It's have a multi-use floor, not necessarily a wood floor. So a variety of activities can be performed on that floor. We do have some exercise space adjacent to that. What we tried to do is weave exercise space, fitness space, all the way up through the building. So if you don't feel like being around people down on the first floor, then maybe you can go to another area of the building and do your routines in a corner off to the side or something. Next. And then on the fourth floor, this will primarily be occupied by Ohio State. And I want to point out on here too is one of the tenants were positioned in the building in a very strategic manner to make sure they were weaved within the community center functions. If you notice, coming up the elevator core in the middle of the building, when you come off, that wall there will have a lot of glass in it. We can continue that weave up through the building. And then the other thing I want to point out on here, you're starting to see a stair right here on the south side that is continuing up through the building. That is a stair that will be enclosed in glass and will allow light to filter through the building and through that stairwell and actually connect visually all the way up through the building too. Next. And then, you know, our team's most favorite floor, Lindsay always refers to this as her favorite floor. And it really is a phenomenal floor. It's going to be a phenomenal space. Katie was talking about the views down to downtown and so forth. There is an outdoor deck right here on the south side that will be covered, connected to a pre-function room by a sliding glass door. So it's an indoor-outdoor space, and the views are going to be phenomenal from up there. And then all servicing a 300 to 350 seat multi-use room. It's not a space like this in Columbus, and we keep hearing when we show it to folks, this place is going to be in high demand once it's finished. And on the right side of the plan, very exciting, a gym. And I'm super excited to show you the renderings of this gym. This gym is up on, again, the 5th floor of the building. And if you look up there, you'll see all the glass surrounding it. And then it also has an elevated track over the top to it. So it's going to be a phenomenal space. Next. And this is the 6th floor where you can see the running track, 8 laps for a mile. You know, I'm a runner and I hate running on treadmills and I hate running indoors, but this is going to be a really, really awesome place to go run, primarily because of the views. As you keep going around, you're going to get a different view every time, and you're going to see something new, which is, I think, really positive. And then also on that level was the penthouse. This is we have a lot of mechanical systems we have to accommodate in the building. Next. So this is a view of the fitness floor. This is, if you remember in the first plan I showed you, there was a fitness room over on Tremont Road. So as you're standing in the corner and looking back at the building, into the building, off to the left would be, you're starting to see some visions of what the lobby is. Again, I want you to notice the 2-story space, the mezzanine beyond on, that mezzanine overlooks down below, and we'll have fitness equipment on it like we're showing. Next. And then the senior lounge. This is going to be a phenomenal space within itself too. So great place to hang out. You're seeing, what we call man doors leading out to that deck. We're discussing whether it's garage doors or a folding glass wall or something. So very much a indoor, outdoor space, a lot of natural light, great social space. Next. And then as we get up to the 5th floor, this is the pre-function space opening up to the deck that overlooks downtown, as I discussed. So really, really phenomenal space being created. And then the gym. This is my favorite space in the building because, like I said, running around this track, and as I said, the views, we really have taken a lot, a great deal of opportunity with the natural light filtering into this space. That gray wall back there will not be gray at the end of the day, I promise you. We're working on branding for the building. So as you come into the lobby here and you see the branding that's going on, that wall will be a major feature wall in this gym. So it's going to be an incredibly cool space. And I think that's it. I'm going to hand it over to Lindsay.
Yeah, and as Keith said, whenever we start to release renderings, people get a little nervous, like the design process is done. These are going to change. I guarantee the final spaces will look much different as we start to really dive into materials and color palettes, but it gives you a good sense of the quality, volume, and character of space. So I want to touch a bit on the exterior development. If we go to the next slide, please. The way we approach exterior design as architects is we take cues from the site and the surrounding context. And so as Katie and Keith have set up, this project is, as you know, part of a broader development. And so on the top here, you see the senior housing complex that is under construction, and then the apartment complex that lives to the east of the community center. And you'll see that these projects do feel like residential projects, well-designed, contextual buildings. And so we started to challenge ourselves at how the community center can be complementary to the development. But we've also started to challenge the city and you to think about this project as an opportunity to stand out and for this building to feel like a special building that's complementary but has a landmark identity. And so as Keith said, we really have started to let this building express the program and the activity inside. And so the aquatic center, the lobby, and the fitness center at the ground level have wonderful opportunities for views, and we want to be intentional about communicating that activity. The tenant space, the community spaces, and the gymnasiums that are intertwined throughout the facility also have the opportunity to be expressed on the exterior. And so some of the parties that we've studied, we've looked at ways to express that program, as you see in the sketch on the left. We've looked at strategies to break down the scale of the building to give it a pedestrian scale at the base. And we've also looked at ways to manipulate the form so that the building can feel more welcoming. And what we're trying to not do is not just build a rectangular box and then decorate it. We're really trying to express the vision and mission of the facility. And so some early renderings and concepts that we've started to develop. This would be a view of the north side of the building along Tremont Road. You can see we're expressing the idea of a base of the building. What you see in the foreground here would be the exercise and fitness center that really has an opportunity to be active, especially at night, and give the building a glow. In the background over to the left at the base is an opportunity to see into the aquatic center. We've also tried to set up the building so proportionally it has a base, a middle, and a top, and really accentuate the idea that within the building this is a building of community. We've started to play with the portions of the windows, promoting a lot of glass on the north side of the building. The benefit of building is that it's great filtered high quality light that doesn't contribute a lot of the solar gain of the facility. A next step for us is really to start to play with materials as a way to the surrounding buildings and the surrounding development. So we're starting to explore some ideas of high quality, durable materials such as masonry at the base and ideas of cladding at the top. We look forward to coming back in a couple months in the spring and engaging you in conversations around material and around color. This is a view of the south side of the building. So in this view, you're seeing to the right, the gyms up top with the tenant floors below. And you're seeing that 5th floor outdoor space that Keith talked about, those amazing views back to downtown. So we're really excited about the direction where this is headed. This is very preliminary. This building that it doesn't feel like an institutional building. And so with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Steve.
The game was tied 18-18 at half. That was the last update they had on Twitter. So where are we and where are we going? So tonight we've given the update on the plans. We've posted everything to the website. We're going to have a recording of everything tonight. If you didn't see them on the way in, we have boards of, and this will again all be up on the website. We have boards that show the plans in detail that we saw tonight, in particular the indoor plans. We'll be back formally in spring to start doing some process on the interior and the exterior in terms of colors and materials and those kinds of things. What we want to spend the next couple of weeks, next month doing is really taking the time to explain the interior function of the building to the community. We're going to work on how we're going to do that. We're going to set up opportunities both formally and informally with community groups and just simply setting up times for folks to come in and sit down with me or Debbie or Jeff or members of the team or occasionally with the design team to really sit and talk about the plan. I will say this, in terms of the interior layouts and functions of the building, we're pretty darn close. We're getting to the point now where we've really got to lock in on floor plans. We don't have room for a curling rink, right? That's not what's going to happen. We're not going to come out of the Olympics and say we really got excited and we're going to have curling in the building. We just simply don't have room for it. That said, if there are things that as you look at the building and say, hey, with this fundamental idea of we're looking at this building as an opportunity to make people's lives better, with the kinds of things that we're able to do in a community center. Have you thought about this? Did you look at this? We still want to hear that. We always want to hear that. Until, frankly, even after the doors are open, we're always going to be open to those ideas and seeing what we can make happen. I'm super excited about where we are. I think we have a building that, given the constraints that we have, really reflects what we heard from the community as to what we want Upper Arlington to be going forward and what can make Upper Arlington better. So with that, I'm looking up to make sure there's not another slide. I think that, yeah, I am, right. Thank you. Save the date for Tuesday, April 26th. That'll be our next kind of formal meeting. And go to the website, give us your feedback on the website. If you've got a group that you want us to come talk to, we're not that hard to find, reach out to us, let us know, hey, I got a group that we want you to come out and talk to. Go to the website, put it in the comments on the website if you'd rather do it that way. And we look forward to furthering the conversation. And thank you so much. I should have finished with, thank you so much for coming out tonight. It's really important to have your engagement. And hopefully you've all had swim lessons already because that's what it's going to take to get to car tonight. So take care.